Hello everybody. So today we are talking about how to raise your wealth set point. So basically we all have like an internal thermostat when it comes to manifesting money and the amount of income that we'll allow into our lives. And so the way this kind of plays out is like it's like on a subconscious level you can't imagine making more than this amount of money. And it's why so many people, they win the lottery and they have like millions of dollars, and then a couple of years later they go bankrupt and they almost end up like worse off than they were before they won the lottery. And the reason is because their internal thermostat is not really set at the point of being able to hold that much wealth. The people are like, either I don't deserve it, or like I don't know what I would do with this money, or like I don't know how to manage it, because they don't have that wealth consciousness of what to do with those millions of dollars. So they just do what feels familiar to them. And for a lot of people, what feels familiar is just spending your entire paycheck and then waiting until the next paycheck. So that familiarity of that pattern still plays out no matter how much money you have. And so that's why when they get millions of dollars, they just spend it all because that's what feels familiar to them. And so as another example of this, there's so many entrepreneurs who they make a lot of money and then they go bankrupt, but then not that long afterwards, they'll end up back at the same point with the same amount of money. Like Donald Trump, for example, he's gone bankrupt so many times, but because his internal thermostat is set so high, he's able to recoup that pretty quickly. Like he goes bankrupt and then a couple of years later, it's like he has all these millions of dollars again. So when you want to raise your wealth frequency set point, well, if you want to know what it is, you just have to look in your bank account right now. Like it sometimes shows up in that like we can work really hard and maybe we get a bonus, but then straight away that bonus goes away really quickly. Or maybe our wealth set point is that like we're always able to pay our bills, but just that, nothing else. Like there's no savings, there's no extra money, we're just able to pay our bills. Or some people, their energetic minimum is like not paying their bills and they end up missing payments, and then they like overdraw their account, and that just happens to them over and over and over again. And it's not saying that that's what they like, but that's just where their energetic set point is at. And so when you want to change this, you need to really start looking at your behavior and figuring out like what are the patterns that are playing out over and over and over again, and where did these patterns come from? Did I see my parents doing this? Is this what was common in my community? Is this what happened in the people around me? Because we really become the average of the people that we spend the most time around, and this really also includes the people that we spend our time around and the income that they make. So when you want to start changing it, it's like you need to first of all take a good hard look at like where are you with money, like what are the patterns that you're playing out over and over again, because we have to have that awareness to be able to change it. Like you can't change something that you're not aware of. So just watching like what are your patterns with money, like what do you keep doing with money over and over again, whether it's something that's negative or positive, like what are the patterns that keep playing out in your life, and start examining the stories that you have around money. And then when you want to start shifting it, you need to start doing like the subconscious work around like what do you believe that you're worthy of? Like do you believe that you're worthy of having all of your desires met? Do you believe that you're worthy of having $5,000 in your savings? Like what is your worthiness level at when it comes to money and like you being taken care of? And doing like either you can do RTT or you can do tapping on it. Or you can just start journaling to figure out like where are you, like what do you believe about money, like what are the things that you just take as like true about money, because that's where you can see where your beliefs are showing up, the things that you take to be true about money. But it's like those things aren't true for everyone. Some of those things could just be true for you. So examining what that belief is and choosing to think a better thought, because we really are affected by what the thoughts that we think over and over, those become our beliefs, and our beliefs create our feelings, and then our feelings create our actions. So when we want to change the action, we actually need to go to the belief to find out what is that belief that's supporting that action and how do we feel around it. And then when you want to change it, like after you've kind of done the work around like your worthiness and feeling like you're enough and worthy and deserving of the money that you want to have, and say you want to go to your next income level, and then start thinking about like, okay, say you wanted to go from like 5K months to 10K months. Okay, the version of you that makes $10,000 a month, like how do they feel around money? What are they thinking around money? How do they behave when they spend it? How do they save their money? How do they allocate their funds? Really getting clear on what that feels and looks like, and start embodying those things now. And I think a lot of people get caught up on this with manifestation where they're like, act as if. It's not acting as if, because if you were acting as if you had that money, you'd just like put all that on a credit card and like be like, yay, I'm rich. And then that would come back later as like another problem. But we're not acting as if, we're embodying the person and how they feel and think. So maybe that looks like when you pay your bills, you're like, I'm so grateful for this thing. I'm so grateful to be able to pay my rent. I'm so grateful to have a house. I'm so grateful to have my car. Even if you want a different level of things as you grow, like even if you want a different car or a different house, but having that gratitude for having that money and always being able to meet those needs is going to give you that feeling of feeling abundant. You're not feeling like you are lacking in some way. And when you feel abundant, you feel safe and secure, you can take action from a better place, because you're taking action from a place of like having what you need, instead of being like, oh my God, I don't have enough, I need to go get something else, I'm not enough. So hopefully that was helpful for you. Let me know in the comments below, and I will see you soon.